AI isn't moving fast, it's moving at a speed of sound. And for the founders, that means one thing: the old way of building is already too slow. We're no longer just talking about AI prompts or AI agents. We are talking about AI execution, AI teammates, faster workflow, more capacity, and less headcount. Today, one founder can build the force of an entire team, hiring 10, 50, or even 100 AI teammates to move faster than ever before. At TCVN, we create live events where founders get in the room, they pitch, they connect, and they learn from the leaders shaping what's next. And this year at Survivor 2026, we were honored to welcome Steve Kost, the Chief Revenue Officer of CloneForce AI, a company building the future of Agentic AI force. So if you're a founder moving fast, lean in because you're about to learn how CloneForce AI is changing the way the company scales. That being said, let's go inside to the fire chat.
Well, first and foremost, I would say that every single founder here would love to have a Steve Kost on their team. And they would love to have a chief revenue officer. So I'd like to start off by asking you, probably what all the other founders and investors are thinking, how does a company attract someone like you? Like, what got you first interested in CloneForce?
Yeah, so Tony, it was a point in time where I was looking for a new role in my career. Was early 2025. I came to CloneForce with a pretty unique background: Fortune 500 executive experience, Big Four experience, but also scaling a few technology startups. So I had a big, broad, experience range. So I was looking at different things. I actually almost became chief revenue officer for one of the largest executive recruiting firms in the world. I was this far away, but they put the role on hold. And I looked at a few others, and all of a sudden, I had an exchange with this gentleman by the name of Chad Steelberg, very successful entrepreneur from Orange County, from Newport Beach. I'm sure some of you have heard of Chad. We connected on the phone, had a great conversation, started talking to me about AI, his vision for CloneForce, that we want to be the largest staffing company in the world, where we have millions of AI teammates in all different kinds of organizations. For the next 15 years, it's all about AI. So I said, I'm going to take that ride. And Chad and I really hit it off. And I'll be going on my 1-year anniversary at CloneForce by the end of the month. And just an exciting time for us.
I'll tell you, we would love to have Chad as a part of our community. Is he still here in Newport Beach?
Everywhere.
Yeah, okay.
One of those places is Newport Beach, yes.
And what was it about CloneForce? Was there something that really hooked you into it in terms of something they were doing that was different or unique?
I think the hook was the vision that Chad had, where he wanted to take the company, what he wanted to accomplish. Chad has a tremendous history of being a successful founder. So that track record really attracted me, and taking all this collective experience that I had for 30 years in the business world and in multiple roles, different types of organizations, and say, wow, I can help really make an impact here and ride off into the sunset one day and take CloneForce to the promised land. And so I think the vision, the track record, the staffing piece of it, because I had worked for companies like Adecco and Kelly Services. So the staffing piece really was a nice fit with my background. And I'm like, wow, how cool would it be to be a leader in the agentic AI workforce? And here we are.
Yeah, so you hear that, founders? Vision and impact. Also, I know that this market is ultra competitive, as we've talked about. Also, earlier today, we talked about how everything is moving at hyper speed. And so there's a lot of noise in the market. I'm sure, a lot of the founders, investors here want to know, and me as a brand marketer as well, how do you get CloneForce's signal, the brand signal, through all that noise that's happening right now?
It's a great question. So last year, we found that companies and organizations struggle with AI in 2025. It was, who do we test with? How do we build a strategy? How do we make an impact? And what happened was there was a lot of failure. Companies tried different types of AI tools that didn't perform. So it created not only a lot of noise in the AI space and all these thousands of agentic AI companies out there and all different types of tools that people are trying to figure out, but then there was a lot of failure. So then it caused resistance, uncertainty. We actually called it at one point in CloneForce AI fatigue. So how do we help organizations work through that AI fatigue? So now we're at a point here in 26 where it's right now in the moment, it's all about agentic AI. Every company I talk to, our teams talk to, it's about agentic AI and how companies are going to move to impact in 2026 with the right agentic AI strategy. So that's been the trend. So getting above the noise, comes down to trust. So we have a great executive team. We have some really powerful people on our advisory board that believe in CloneForce and are supporting us and making those connections. We built an ambassador program at CloneForce where we have, and there's some in this room that are part of TCVN that are ambassadors for CloneForce that have great networks. And when you send an email to your network about an AI company, because everybody here gets hundreds of those a day, it's like, oh, I trust this person. I know that they're going to send me in the right direction. So that's helped us get above the noise, but it's not easy for sure. Driving value with customers, referrals, creating case studies with customers is we're at that point now where we're able to do that. So we're getting above that noise.
So you talk about reaching them, getting the signal through the noise. Can you explain to us who are the buyers now for Agentic AI? Who's the ideal customer profile, the ICP? What are the titles that you're selling to, and who are the decision makers?
So it's interesting. We personally at CloneForce have taken AI out of the IT room and we moved it alongside employees in an organization. Because of that, it doesn't always default to the CIO. Now, a chief operating officer, a CHRO, a marketing executive, a sales organization can make those decisions because we've created a platform, a one-stop shop at CloneForce, where you can have pretty much any role you want within your organization built at CloneForce, an AI teammate. So we've created a very broad ICP, but other AI companies that are more prompting and assistance is probably within the IT room. But CloneForce has built a platform where it has taken it out of that. Now, in some cases, Tony, you'll have a large organization where, a Fortune 500, and you're talking to the CHRO, and they say, you know what, Steve, we have an AI team, innovation team, or we have an AI czar. Or that's going to go to the CIO first, and then it'll come back to us. Sometimes they have that process built, regardless of whether we have a platform that has taken it out of the room. But we just go with the flow.
You said AI czar. Mm-hmm. Can you explain that a little bit more? And maybe talk a little bit about these new titles that maybe you're hearing about in April of 2026?
So titles would be, AI czars, chief digital officers. Then we get involved with the CISOs. So it's interesting. AI czars think completely differently than a CIO would, and it's funny because I talk to them all in all different kinds of organizations. And it's amazing the perspectives that each one of those roles has about CloneForce, about AI, about the agentic AI world in general. It's interesting how the titles and just the way their mindsets are, and because of their DNA in that title, just the way they think it varies.
Are there some specific problems for your ICP where as soon as you address that problem, they sign with CloneForce? Is there like an obvious pain point that you're solving where?
Yeah, so we focus on the pain points for sure. We like to demonstrate our value with the biggest pain points in an organization initially, because if we can do that, then it's like, okay, everything else will be easy. So I always like to encourage organizations, we work with founders to the Fortune 500, and I encourage them, where's the biggest pain? Where do you want to drive the greatest value within your organization? Where can we meet you right now at your moment in time that's going to make the most sense to drive your business? And then we like to start there. We have a land, expand, transform process at CloneForce, where we land first 30 days, you test CloneForce with a couple, case studies, roles within your organization, AI teammates in those roles, see the value, light bulbs go off. Then we move to expand phase, expand other parts of the business, and then transform the business.
I'm sure the people in this room want to hear about how you're landing. Can you tell any stories about how you're landing some of these accounts and what that land or the initial pilot looks like?
Oh, so it really varies. We've had, simply a founder of an organization that's either sole proprietor, has one or two other employees max, that said, geez, I've always wanted to have an executive assistant, but I don't want to spend $80,000 a year on an executive assistant. I can have an AI teammate at CloneForce now for that, a tenth of the cost. Wow, I can do that now. I can do that with technology. So it goes from something that simple, Tony, to just have an executive assistant that manages your inbox, schedules your meetings for you, updates your documents, creates PowerPoint presentations in 5 minutes versus an hour. I mean, you name it, so send emails on your behalf, et cetera. So from that to a Fortune 600 company that we just signed that is going to start in their IT room, and the CIO is going to do some tests with CloneForce in certain use cases. And then once they see the value there, then they're going to branch it out to within their commercial organization. So it really depends. It really varies.
What are some of the objections you're starting to hear with I mean, this is a new category. It's a new offering. What are the objections you're hearing, and how is CloneForce overcoming those objections?
So it's interesting. I think objections we're seeing is I think there's a lot of people in the market that just don't understand agentic AI, and they're trying to get their arms around it. So we try to overcome that by just being very casual and say just test one use case, see the value of it. We make it very easy, very simple. So I think it's resistance because I think there's a lack of understanding. I think there's some hesitancy because of some failed you know tests, beta test trials that happened late last year. And I think people are still unsure about which way to go. And so I think that's another piece of it. A third piece too is for us as CloneForce, we've built such a unique platform where we built it where it's so human-like, where it's just like working with a human, except that you get 50 times the speed and things are done in seconds and minutes versus hours, days, or weeks. And it's just like working with a human in your flow of work. They get a phone number, you can text them. People have never seen that before. So when they hear about CloneForce, it's like, okay, so you're not Claude, you're not this, you're not that, you're actually done something much different. And so it takes time for them to get an understanding of that and to get used to it. So I think, as customers start to use CloneForce and they see the instant value and the value it's bringing directly to them personally and saving them time, and they're performing at a higher level and they could do more things for the organization, we've created a force multiplier. So really it's expanding your capacity within your organization from a human capital perspective without adding headcount.
How about, I know one of the things I keep seeing across my feed is the concerns of security, compliance. How are you dealing with that objection or that concern?
Yeah. So organizations view us at times as we're the open claw for enterprise. In fact, we were open claw before open claw became public, quite frankly. So we were building a skill marketplace before we went market facing at CloneForce. So we have all the enterprise permissions. We have the security grade within our technology, secured in the cloud. And you can really give your AI teammates whatever permissions and access you want them to have.
I guess a personal question: Do you see that processing moving from the cloud and going local and being on premise, or having your own personal PC?
I do. I see. We can actually do that now. I see that becoming a trend, especially with organizations that LLM systems, their data cannot be, LLMs can't circulate that data, so it's got to be private. So you're going to see more local on-premise just to keep that secure. That's going to be a trend, especially in specific verticals, federal government, defense contractors, those kinds of financial organizations that really can't share data and information, with any type of LLM system or other type of AI technology. So that's going to become a trend. I will say there was a conversation this morning on the panel, and they were talking about how founders need to be prepared to go fast. So if you're going to be a founder in the AI world, times that by 100. AI is moving faster than you can imagine. What we built at CloneForce will probably, I'd say 3 or 4 months from now, and we're even coming out with our new version in May. We'll probably have another version a few months later. It's just moving so fast, and the technology is moving so fast. So if you're a founder in AI, get ready for that, because it's speed of sound.
And since you and your team are really at the bleeding edge of what's happening with agentic AI, what are you seeing and what are you personally excited about?
I'm personally excited about, obviously, where CloneForce is heading. We've built something really special here, and just the potential of CloneForce is off the charts. So we're excited about that. The impact that it can make, the agentic AI world and AI in general, once people start to get comfortable with it, once people start seeing the personal value of it, like truly impact, not only to them personally, but their organizations, whether it's, again, small business or large. And I think the overall human impact that it's going to make over time as well. And I just want to say something that has me excited. And I think just the efficiency and how companies can accelerate their revenues much faster, and how people's careers are going to be propelled because of AI. Hear all this, everybody's worried about losing their jobs. Okay. We all know AI's here. We saw the internet boom back in the 90s. Okay. Well, there weren't tons of people homeless around the world because of it. There's going to be other types of roles, opportunities that AI is going to produce, where people are going to have other types of jobs. The ones that embrace AI right now are the ones that are going to get ahead of the game. The ones that don't, keep kicking the can down the road. Even HR leaders in large organizations. There's some HR leaders that are scared to death of this, because they know if we embrace AI and have agentic AI and have an entire agentic workforce and blend that with our human workforce, what that's going to mean. They just don't want to deal with it. So they're kicking the can down the road. The ones that don't kick the can down the road are going to be ahead of their competitors, and they're going to secure their careers.
In addition to that, so you have an amazing LinkedIn profile in terms of your experience in the space. What are you seeing that's different? Like, what are some lessons that you've learned, some aha moments now that you're seeing Agentic, this new Agentic AI era? Is there anything that's changing the rules or anything that's different than what you've seen in your previous career?
For sure. Just whole dynamic of this agentic AI world and the way it's evolving and where it's heading, and just the reactions that I see from all different types of decision makers in many different types of roles in many different types of organizations. It says you have some that can't wait to embrace it. You have some that are unsure. You have people that are scared. You have people that think they know it all and they don't. I mean, I've seen the whole spectrum. So it's just the evolution of AI, where it's heading, the impact it can make. So with all of my past experiences and now working at CloneForce, just the potential impact of what CloneForce can do from individuals all the way to the Fortune 1, and the impact it can make is just unbelievably exciting. And watching the journey, even I've been here 11 months, it'll be my 1-year anniversary at the end of the month, because we started CloneForce market facing when I started CRO. And I can tell you, just in the first 11 months, so the challenges that we've seen as a startup and things that we've gone through and mistakes that we have made and things that we've learned and how our company's evolving just in that short period of time is super exciting. I mean, for the next 15 years, it's all about AI, 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 AI.
And how about this promise of the one person, $1 billion company? Is that something you see that's possible and even possible with CloneForce?
100 zillion percent. So now a founder, a one-man show, one-woman show, can hire 100 AI teammates and have a company. I've had sole proprietors say, I want to build my company with just AI teammates. I don't need people. I can just have AI teammates, a marketing assistant, a sales assistant, an EA, inbound and outbound call. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I can build my company around having AI teammates. That's how people are thinking. So yes, you can become a one-man show, multi-billion-dollar company, because now with the power of AI and now with agentic AI and what we've done at CloneForce, from moving from, AI assistants and AI prompts to full execution, game changer.
Well, we're out of time. We went over a little bit. Well, in terms of thinking about our audience, so we have early stage founders and funders that are here. They are all hearing what you're saying. They're building, they're focused on agentic AI. What is some advice you would give to them right now as they're building?
Stay true to your core, believe in your vision, be resilient, be ready to change on a dime, keep a high energy level, be able to pivot when you need to pivot, keep a close eye on competitors, test the market first with potential customers. Don't develop a product and think, oh, this is going to be the home run, without talking to people first and testing the market first, because you'll get fried. So test it first. Hey, what do you think about this? I'm thinking about doing this. Hey, can we test it with you just to see? Get that valuable feedback. And last but not least, embrace AI. As a founder, you got an opportunity here with the agentic AI workforce. Of course, CloneForce. I'm going to, a little plug for us. Build your workforce with AI teammates now, and you'll be ahead of your competition, and you'll grow. You'll force multiply your business faster you can ever imagine.
I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Without them, this podcast won't exist. Our first sponsor we want to thank is CloneForce. CloneForce builds digital teammates that help people get everyday work done 50 times faster around the clock. Reed Smith. Reed Smith is a globally recognized law firm helping founders navigate every stage of growth, from formation and fundraising to scale and exit. And let me tell you this, you're going to want to invest in a good lawyer. You're going to invest some now, but you're going to save a lot later. And we have Sunstone Community Fund, supports entrepreneur educations and inclusive innovation by partnering up with universities, nonprofits like us, accelerators, and public-private initiatives to create opportunities for the next generation of founders. If you find value in our podcast and in our community, and you know a friend or a fellow founder that could benefit from this, we would so appreciate it if you could share this with your friend. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, because we are here. We're dedicated to grow with you and grow with our community. That being said, we look forward to see you in our next episode.